also want to say I love questions, and I love to share my knowledge in events. I think that it's something that everyone should be able to do, create experiences. It connects people. It's going to make a big difference in this world. So if you do have a question,
and then the other thing that helps me with kind of we'll call it work-life balance, because that's kind of what people understand it as, but it's just trying to be consistent. So whether that's working out, breathing exercises, supplementation, journaling, talking to people, like verbal therapy. Like I get a lot of verbal therapy out on my YouTube videos because I have like 1,300 of them now, and it just allows me to kind of get it off my chest, but I try to be respectful, but just keep it real at the same time, because I think being genuine and authentic is really important. And I think growing up, I didn't really see a lot of that as it's portrayed to the public. And I think I was just watching another Netflix documentary, and they said it was on YouTube, kind of like social media stars, and they're like, people today can relate to people on social media, especially when people become more of like a social media influencer. It's because of, like, they'll just say like, hey, I have a zit, like it sucks and I feel really crappy right now, but I'm using this product, and it may not be an ad or promotion or a sponsored post, but they just may be like, hey, I'm using this and it's helping. Or, you know, like, hey, and the fact that they acknowledge that they have a blemish on their face, instead of trying to cover it up with makeup or just trying to, like, you know, not even mention it, they just acknowledge, like, I have flaws and I'm trying to work on myself. And I think that grows closer to the audience, because it's like, wow, they're human, they have vulnerabilities too. You know, it's like, they're not perfect, you know, like, and so I try to do that, and what I do as well, to let people know, like, I don't have it all together, like, I don't even pretend to, but sometimes it can come across that way, but that's not my intent, I guess. And intent is not always communicated, it's kind of just implied, or you ask about it and maybe they tell you. So, but yeah, so emotional intelligence, being reasonable, and being consistent are some things that have helped me with my work-life balance. But
yeah, that's awesome. And I feel like and I speak more from the entrepreneur side because I'm surrounded by a bunch of entrepreneurs. A lot of people, you know, go that entrepreneur path because they want to live lives on their own terms, and they actually get sucked into that same almost like corporate schedule and sacrificing their well-being for their business, right? So they don't have that balance. Because as an entrepreneur, you work 3 times as hard, right? So you're billing, HR, you know, everything.
Yes.
And so some ways that I've also found is, you know, keeping a consistent schedule, which is, you know, Mondays I don't work with clients, I work on myself and on my business. And then really keeping in mind that if you don't keep a work-life balance and you don't put yourself as a priority, your health, you can't work.
That's right.
You won't have a life, and you won't be able to work. And so that's where really that importance is. And I feel like a lot of the past, it's starting to change, was, you know, strengthen, I worked 17 hours and I can work 1 more hour, and that was seen and like applauded. And it's, no, you need to rest, you need to have 8 hours a day, you should have a break. If you're stressed, take a walk, and that actually raises your productivity and helps you. So keeping that in mind as well. Yeah,
and I almost feel like it's tough, because sometimes you need to put in more than 8 hours to accomplish what you need to as an entrepreneur or business owner. But at the same time, like one of my bosses, like a traditional employment type of corporate environment, I was like, all right, well, I finished everything I need to do for the day in like 6 hours. And he was like, well, you just need to work another 4 so that you can meet your 10 hours for the day. And I was like, well, but when I looked back, I was like, well, on my pay stub, I'm only paid for 8 hours. So it's like, I finished in 6, he wants me to work 10, but I'm only paid for 8. So I'm just like, there seems to be a dilemma here of sorts. Like, I could go, but it was a corporate environment, and they had like a gym and stuff, so I could go work out and stuff, but I don't know, it just feels like you're trying to keep up appearances a lot. Like, you have to like look like you're busy in order for people to like leave you alone or something, so you can get your work done, but you don't want to leave too early or too, I don't know, I just don't like creating too much of a facade. But at the same time, you do have to have a brand where it represents who you are. But I don't know, it's kind of a weird dynamic, I guess. It's like, you want to be real, but you don't want to like talk about your problems all the time. I don't know if that makes sense, but
yeah. There's also a balance with that as well. 100%.
Cool. All right, so just to kind of maybe wrap things up, let's maybe, I don't know, do you have anything that you want to leave folks with? Maybe last nuggets of truth, either mistake to avoid or best practice when it comes to event planning or health related stuff?
So, I'll give like the biggest marketing mistakes, which is not knowing your target market.
Okay.
Not giving yourself enough time to market is a huge one, especially for events. People expect that they're just going to publish something and magically 700 people are going to RSVP and show up to your event, and you need to have time. Marketing is about figuring out what channel works for you, and that takes time. So give yourself time to be able to market property and use multiple channels. That's specifically towards events. And then on the health side, really be aware, and I would say use the word compassion for yourself. So if you're not feeling good, acknowledge that and deal with it. Find a way to either get help, find a solution, whether it is a supplement, as you were saying, or exercise, or taking the day off and resting, because that's what your body needs. And that's really all you have, right? So you can work in so many different things, but if you don't have your body and you're not right, you're not going to be able to do anything.
Yeah. And I would add trying to focus on the natural side of things when it comes to helping with yourself. Because notice all the things that we mentioned are things that you can do or what nature provides, whether it's working out, breathing exercises, journaling, supplementation. There's a lot of things versus trying to go to the route where it's like, well, let me get something synthetic or a drug or a prescription over the counter. That's just going to mask symptoms. You know, there's side effects that come with that. There's liver and kidney toxicity. Even if it works, you know, there's all these other unintended consequences that come with, you know, the magic pill, as I'll call it. But really, it needs to be addressing the root cause. And I think all the things you mentioned are really informative. And if folks want to learn more about you, what you do, if it's a good fit for them, what's the process, and then what's the best way to connect with you?
So you guys can connect with me on my Facebook page or my personal Facebook. So Alexandria Tomayko or Nomadic Planning. To work with me, the process is we get on a connection call, is what I call it, to see and sort of vet both sides to see if we're a good fit. I work with people who are looking to have a retreat and have a retreat experience. So above and beyond, right? So not just something that is put together all willy-nilly. One of the requirements is, you know, at least it's a $10,000 deposit up front to work with me, and then also at least 9 months out. So again, so we have time to market your retreat and put everything together because I want you to be successful. 9+ months, yes. Some resorts and places and hotels actually book up 2 years in advance. You have to submit. So that's something that a lot of people don't know. So between putting everything together and then marketing it, you need at least 9 months.
And then on top of that process and vetting and everything, you also help people figure out if, like, is it charge up front, charge on the back end with back of the room sales, or like all that's like how you monetize, the monetization strategy of all that as well?
For them or for me?
For them and for you, I guess.
For them. Yeah. So for them, it's usually 50% deposit up front. Okay. And what they monetize on is the retreat tickets. So we sit there and we say, okay, what are your goals? And one of the goals that I like to put in is, my big question is, how do you want your guests to feel? And how do you want to feel? And those are two of my goals on top of how much do you want to make? And so then we look at budgets and I give them options of, you know, you can potentially make between this bracket and this bracket of net profit, or this bracket and this bracket, and this place has a pool and this one doesn't, and that's the price difference kind of thing. And then they make all of the retreat sales net profit.
Okay. And last question before we end on, like, I know some speakers who have the previous customer base or the social media following, you know, whether it's Brendon Burchard or Tony Robbins or, you know, like these big motivational speakers who have millions of followers or, you know, already money in the bank, so to speak. They're able to, you know, put something out and boom, it does well. What about for somebody that's just starting in their journey or somewhere that's kind of in the middle? Like, is it a matter of like all strategy and working with you? I know I'm not looking for maybe tactics because that's what we hire you for, the how-to side. But like, can somebody who's just starting out have similar to better results as those upper end folks, or is it going to be based off of like certain limiting factors, I guess?
It's going to be based really off of their target market and their niche, right? So Tony Robbins and all of these people have a niche. They found their niche, they put in their foot, and that's why they are standing on steady ground, right? Mm-hmm. So depending on the niche that they have, but usually what I do is they're higher end retreats and they're a low number. So I don't recommend over 25 people per retreat. Okay. So when you think about it, 25 people to fill, that's not too bad, right? That's doable. And I do advise on marketing strategies and help them, like if they don't have their buyer persona and their target market developed, then that, is additional, but I can help them and I advise on marketing as well.
Gotcha. Well, this has been very informative, and I hope that everyone out there who's watching has gotten some value out of event planning, whether you plan weddings, plan bar mitzvahs, plan birthday parties, plan retreats, and can look to Alexandria really as a resource for doing that on obviously not a larger scale, because sometimes it's quality over quantity with regards to number of people that attend a retreat, but being able to leverage that, I think, and know when and why it's a fit for a business, whether it's a corporate business, franchise, mom and pops. You also have affiliate marketing, network marketing. There's so many different ways that people can use events to drive value to people, and it doesn't always involve business, I think is my point, but I think just knowing what's out there and knowing our options is really important. So hopefully you guys got that intent, is just knowing what's out there and being able to kind of gauge that.
And I also want to say I love questions, and I love to share my knowledge in events. I think that it's something that everyone should be able to do, create experiences. It connects people. It's going to make a big difference in this world. So if you do have a question about a workshop or something, even if it's not my area of my niche right now, I would say, I'm always open to hopping on the phone, walking people through it, and answering questions about how do I start wedding planning. I know all about it. Not interested in going back, but I will definitely share my knowledge.
Yeah, so a little bit of consulting aspect, and I think that's cool as well. And but yeah, awesome. So folks, if you've heard it here, just connect with Alexandria on social media. I'll have links in the description below so you can kind of check those out. Everyone, thanks for watching, and yeah, we'll see. Basically, I'll be following you, and if I have any events in the future for myself or a referral, I'll definitely keep that in mind, because I do see a lot of value in retreats, whether it be to add value to others or to kind of unwind as a customer myself at other people's events. So, but yeah, coolness.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Lance. Everyone have a wonderful, wonderful Friday, and do something for yourself today. That's my challenge. So do something, give yourself a little self-love.
That's right. I love that call to action. Yeah, just take care of yourself. Self-care is some really good care. Health is wealth too, by the way. I'll add that,
Yeah.
So coolness. All right. Well, again, thanks for joining on the call. Thanks everyone for watching. This will be obviously recorded, and you kind of check all that out. But yeah, have a great day, everyone. And thanks again, Alexandria.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day, everybody.
Thanks. Yep. Bye. Hello. What's going on? We live. Let's see if I can get things set up here. All right. Cool. We are just waiting on Alexandria. Oh, really bright. Hello. How's it going? Let's see if I can figure out how to get this going. How do we get you to join the call? Approve. Let's see here. Are we
there
on?
We go.
Okay. This is the first. How are you doing, by the way?
Good.